at Mammoth Lake, it was fair, with a temperature of 61. Other locations in California, skies ranged from partly cloudy to mostly cloudy. It was 83 in Fresno, 61 at San Francisco, and 70 at Los Angeles. The following is a flowing dust advisory for the following county: Western Nevada Basin and Range, including Pyramid Lake, Nevada. A flowing dust advisory remains in effect until 9 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time this evening. A lake wind advisory for Pyramid Lake remains in effect until 9 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time this evening. Winds southwest to west 15 to 30 miles per hour with gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Visibility: dust will reduce visibility down to 1 mile at times. Drivers uninterested.
Remembering Manzanar, inside our East Theater. Through the main exhibits, come back toward the bookstore, take the carpeted hallway to the open door, and enter the East. Remembering Manzanar, inside our East Theater.
it's very unfortunate what happened to the Japanese people, the Japanese people that were born in America. I feel like it was we did them unfairly, and I think that this is a great memorial to show the hardships that they went through, the commitments that they provided, the war. They went to war. They even went to war, and so this is just a memorial for us to recognize some of the wrongs that we've done and to understand and appreciate everything they've done for America. And why are you coming?
I
Okay.
This is the first time.
yeah,
Yeah. What do you think about this slide?
it's cool. Yeah. How cool.
What do you think about the Americans when they incarcerated the Japanese? Do you think that was right?
No.
You think that was wrong?
Yeah.
Do you know the World War II? Yeah.
My dad served in the Korean War. I was in the service for 5 years, active duty in the Air Force, stationed in Guam, and then spent the rest of my time with the Air Force for another 17 years, so I'm retired Air Force. And so I'm pretty familiar with the world wars and all the unfortunate tragedies that went on. And even though I'm in the military, I believe that there's a lot of other. I think we should do more peaceful means and try to work more peacefully together. But there is those times that unfortunately you have to use a little bit of force. I mean, those islands that China and Japanese and the Philippines were, that's an issue right there, right? I mean, so we have to be able to hopefully work out as countries to try to, work some type of agreement out. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of stuff going on in this world that hopefully we can work through peace. Because that's one of the things I explained to you earlier. The Japanese people are very peaceful. They're very genuine, honest, good people. I've never met a mean Japanese person. I know they're out there, but I've never met one. And I just really think it's an outstanding culture. And I've been to Tokyo. I've been to Okinawa. So I've traveled, and so I think it's a very unique and nice place to visit. And so we're just coming here. I'm showing her the atrocities that we did, and hopefully this would never happen again. This type of situation. So
This is your message.
yes.
formed by a special order of the Secretary of War early in 1943, made up entirely of volunteers. Many of them volunteered to fight when they were behind the barbed wire enclosures of relocation centers, where they had been moved in 1942, soon after the outbreak of war. They volunteered to fight for the land of their birth, the adopted land.
After war was declared, I was evacuated from the Pacific coast. When the call came for volunteers for a combat team, I volunteered from a relocation center to show my loyalty and to prove that I had the right to live as a good American citizen.
That's why these men originally volunteered, and why for 11 long months now, they've been in continuous combat. They've wanted to prove to other Americans how wrong it is to judge a man by the pigment of his...
Proud members of the 442nd Infantry Regiment, mostly American-born Japanese, swings down Constitution Avenue in Washington for another ceremony in their honor. The Nisei marched smartly onto the ellipse near the White House, where President Truman, Secretary Patterson, and Admiral Leahy are gathered. The regimental colors are brought forward to receive the 8th Presidential Unit Citation held by the 442nd. Nisei hear President Truman's tribute.
You fought not only the enemy, but you fought prejudice, and you've won. Keep up that fight, and we'll continue to win. To make this great republic stand for just what its Constitution says it stands for, the welfare of all the people, all the time.
These soldiers, true Americans.
All of you Americans of Japanese descent have a right to be proud. You have demonstrated true Americanism and true American citizenship on the field of battle. You have realized the necessity of leaving your homes and your loved ones in order that you could destroy this enemy who would take from you the American way of life and the freedoms which we value so highly in America. You are always willing to close with the enemy. He has no bluff on you, and you've always defeated him. And let me tell you again, America is proud of you.
Americans with Japanese faces and Japanese names. They're members of the Japanese-American Combat Team, formed by a special order of the Secretary of War early in 1943, made up entirely of volunteers. Many of them volunteered to fight when they were behind the barbed wire enclosures of relocation centers, where they had been moved in 1942, soon after the outbreak of war. They volunteered to fight for the land of their birth, the adopted land of their parents. These pictures show the Japanese-American Combat Team in training. These boys look like tough fighters. Aren't you glad they're on our side? Learning how to use a bayonet and a rifle is part of the primary training of almost every soldier, especially an infantryman. Along with it, he learns how to throw a hand grenade and how to protect himself against gas. In a gas mask, all American soldiers look alike. These men are getting acquainted with a machine gun. They start on an older model, but it uses real bullets and makes plenty of noise. One crew takes the gun while the rest of the company watches, then change positions. Every man knows his job and all the other positions in the gun crew. And he's learned it by putting out just a little more than he had to. Field training is one step closer to readiness for actual combat.
Here, after bitter fighting, they enter Livorno. The men deploy cautiously, wary of enemy snipers that have been left behind. They've got a reason for being one of the top outfits in this war.
as one of them testifies.
I'm from Seattle. After war was declared, I was evacuated from the Pacific coast. When the call came for volunteers for a combat team, I volunteered from a relocation center to show my loyalty and to prove that I had the right to live as a good American citizen.
And that's why these men originally volunteered, and why for 11 long months now, they've been in continuous combat. They've wanted to prove to other Americans how wrong it is to judge a man by the pigment of his skin or the shape of his eyes.
Lieutenant O'Hara, your battalion has done a wonderful job in this Italian campaign. What are your reasons for fighting?
I'm fighting over here for the better things of life and to preserve the American way of living.
500 proud members of the 442nd Infantry Regiment, mostly American-born Japanese, swings down Constitution Avenue in Washington for another ceremony in their honor. The Nisei march smartly onto the ellipse near the White House, where President Truman, Secretary Patterson, and Admiral Leahy are gathered. The regimental colors are brought forward to receive the 8th Presidential Unit Citation held by the 442nd. The Nisei hear President Truman's tribute.
You fought not only the enemy, but you fought prejudice, and you won. Keep up that fight, and we'll continue to win. To make this great republic stand for just what its Constitution says it stands for, the welfare of all the people, all the time.
These soldiers, true Americans.
I don't know, I'm getting older now. My kids are getting older, so it's easier for them to understand. Because we don't really, there's nothing in really the history books. I remember when I came out of camp, there was nothing in the history books about what happened. So this is probably the best I can get is from what's here. It's a really nice museum here. So that's about it.
I'm having problems pulling it up. I'm sorry. I'm looking for it.
Yoshio Rai, R-A-I. I don't know what camp they were in. R-A-I.
How do I get to the folder from here? Because I have it. It's a little different from. Oh, there you go. There you go. Look at that. Oster. Poston?
Yes, Poston.
And it was R.
R-A-I.
Okay. R-A-I.
You found it?
Only one of those in this
One?
whole.
You're
And
kidding.
is this them?
Let me see.
Let's see.
R-A-I.
The top. R-A-I.
Oh, there it is. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yeah, Yoshio. That's got to be 1930. His birth date is 1931. How old would that make him? 80-something?
Now?
Yeah.
If
it is.
Yeah, 87.
84.
Oh, 84?
Oh, it is.
I'm like going like this.
Is it in April? Oh, yes, April. That's him.
Yep, April 3rd.
Right there.
Yeah.
Right there, Yoshio.
Yep.
I guess that's his family. And that's his sister, Shizuko.
All right, so we'll print this
yeah,
out for you.
that's
Cool.
great. That's
Yeah.
so you found another
That's
family
cool.
member. Okay.
And they're from a different place that your other family is
Where
from.
were they at?
Paris, California.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or
I didn't
P-E-R-R-I-S.
know that.
But they all went to different places out there. You could see like these two
Oh, they
people
did?
went to Riverdale, California,
Uh-huh.
and one person went to Fort Douglas, Utah.
Oh,
And-
because he went into service.
That would
He
make
went into
sense. Fort
Army.
Douglas. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other three doesn't say.
Because remember he said he didn't like corned beef because he ate it all the time.
That's really funny. That was their main meal.
Canned corned beef.
All right, we print this
Okay.
out for you and we're good.
All right, so they found another one.
Cool. And who are these people?
My sister's husband and her family.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
Yeah.
like your extended relatives.
Right.
All right, I'll be right
Extended
back.
relatives. So they found another one. So,
How do you feel?
huh?
How do you feel? You can find the fundraise name.
Oh, it's nice because we never bothered doing it before. We didn't even think about it because when we grew up, our parents never spoke about it too. They never talked about being in camp. So they didn't want us to feel like we were prejudiced against or anything. So, but now that we're older, like I say, you think more about it. So, and then you want your children to look into your heritage, like your grandkids too. For some reason, it's not in our history books. Anyways, but I don't know what else to add.
Yeah, Japan and the United States.
Yeah.
We have such story, but
Uh-huh.
now we can build new friendship.
Oh yeah, and I
Yeah.
think we feel that way in the United States. So I don't think the past is the past. So I don't think there's any harsh feelings. And we faced prejudice in the beginning. My parents did, but when I grew up, they never mentioned about what happened to us. So we never knew what prejudice was really like. So it's a great country, and I love it. And we find that all the opportunities are here.